Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome in. I'm Matt Stryker, and I'm back with more of the Yankees Latest. All right, so Luke Weaver has signed with the New York Mets. Brad Keller has signed with the Philadelphia Phillies. So it looks like that settles it. It looks like we will most likely return David Bednar and Camilo Doval as closer or closers, if you will. So let's dive into both of those guys and see that it's actually not that bad. Bednar's 31. He's 6'1", 250 pounds. He's a solid dude. He's got about 6, 7 seasons in the majors. Most success has come with Pittsburgh, highlighted by a 39 save season back in 2023. His pitch usage uses a four-seamer, which sits at 95, a curveball, which sits at 80, and a splitter that sits at 86. So there's a 10 to 15 mile per hour variance there between his pitches. And Bednar has managed 3 times in his career to be in the top percentile in metrics such as opponent's expected batting average, opponent's expected slugging, opponent weighted on base average, or WOBA, fun to say, and strikeout percentage. So when healthy and able to command his pitches, David Bednar is a darn good reliever. And if you want more, then another right-handed option out of the pen is Camilo Doval. And most of us know him from his success with the Giants, 3 years in a row of 20-plus saves, highlighted by a 39er in 23, throws the slider, cutter, sinker. So there's a different look in the shape to his arsenal than Bednar's, and that can keep hitters off balance, make it hard for opposing skippers to kind of figure out what to do, especially at home when that manager gets that last kind of chance to play there. Slider sits at 86, cutter sits at 90, sinker sits at 94. Now, I agree that there needs to be more left-handedness to the bullpen. You got 35-year-old Tim Hill, 34-year-old Ryan Yarbrough, and 28-year-old Brent Hedrick as the only left-handed relief currently. I would not mind another quality lefty here, and that's why the conversation about Jojo Romero from St. Louis is the ad here, and I just think it works. And if Chaim Bloom says to Brian Cashman, look, I know you want Romero, but you're going to have to, at the very least, take Brendan Donovan. That's also something that we're going to have to take into consideration. So let's keep our eye on that. All right, changing gears here and kind of staying with what the Mets have done here. It looks like the Mets and other teams are going to play 6-inning baseball. So I think in order to compete with other American League elites, let's just worry about the American League for now, we, the Yankees, need back-end assurance. I point to Detroit. They added Kenley Jansen and Kyle Finnegan. So now these Tigers are set up for Tariq Skubal, Jack Flaherty, Casey Mize, and/or Reese Olson with Jensen, Kenley Jansen, Will Vest, and Kyle Finnegan. So here we're seeing 6-inning baseball. Can the Yankees play 6 or 7-inning baseball with the current iteration of this bullpen? Current iteration of this lineup? I don't think so. Need Cody Bellinger badly, especially with all the pitching questions. I mean, things could shake out by summer, but that may be too late. We might not have the luxury of waiting around for Cole and Rodon to find their form. We desperately need one of Warren, Heel, or Schlittler to be better than good, to at least keep us afloat until Cole and Rodon, which is why Ime and King become, dare I say, just as important as Cody Bellinger. How about that? Comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. Is that a hot take, if you will? Because look at the competition that we may face just to get to the postseason and how those teams are set up. And that'll tell you just exactly where we stand. So what do you say we do that right now? Let's take a look at the American League competition. Let's start in our own division. The Jays can easily win close to 100 games now. Right? You agree? They had 94 and added an abundance of pitching to go with the second most runs in the American League. So boom, there they are already. Then there's us. We had the most runs in the American League, but also had 94 wins. But we lost Bellinger, we lost Weaver, etc. So I think we're still a 90-win team. Comment down below. Let's get this conversation going right now. Where do you think we are right now if the season started tomorrow? I'm confident if we won 94, remove Bellinger, remove Weaver, I think we can still take 90. Boston, they had 89 wins, and I think they can be that again. I don't think Sonny Gray and Yohan Oviedo blow the doors off anything. Baltimore had 75 wins. They're at least 80 or more win team now. Plus, I think they're going to add pitching. So we would need to identify teams that be 90 win teams or more to gauge their threat to our intentions to go further than we went this past season. So you have a team like Cleveland. They had 88 wins last year, always a good club, but with no additions. Let's assume they are similar. They always find a way to win, but right around 88. Detroit, we discussed them. They 87 wins last year. Now with this pen and Tariq Skubal, and now this rotation with a little bit more maturity, are they a 90-win team? If they trade Tariq Skubal, much different conversation. Kansas City underachieved. 82 wins. Injuries hampered them. I think they've added Lane Thomas. Can we call them an 88-win team next season, the Kansas City Royals? And Bobby Witt takes the next step, and Cole Reagans is healthy. Seattle, they won 90 last year. Can we expect regression from Cal Raleigh? I mean, that's a monumental thing that he did, never done before. Does he do it again, or is it an anomaly? I don't know. So let's keep them at 90. Houston, if they don't re-sign Framber Valdez, they take a step back. Maybe the Angels take a small step forward. So we're still right there, but there is room for like a Cleveland or a Kansas City to kind of take our spot. And that's something that we can't afford to happen just because we're so close. And sometimes, taking that one step back, gosh, these teams just leapfrog you, and I don't want that to happen. All right, so I've been reading a lot of the comments, and you guys are funny, but you seem to be looking to, kind of get on Brian Cashman. And I get it, right? He's been in this role since, 1998? But I looked into him a little deeper, and do you know he started as an intern in 1986? 6 years later, he's the assistant GM while George is suspended. I mean, he's got to be smart, right? Some other interesting facts about him that I read. He's also a daredevil. He jumped out of planes for Wounded Warriors charity. So I think sometimes we look at a guy like Brian Cashman who has been passive, I guess we feel, and we make assumptions about him. But if you were a GM, what would you do? Let me know down below. Because, we're getting news now that Bo Bichette says he'll play second base. Do you move Jazz Chisholm to the outfield and put Bo Bichette at second base? We've talked about Tariq Skubal. Do you empty the farm to get a guy like Tariq Skubal? Just all in all, I think that a lot of times we look at these general managers and we think we know, especially in the sports world. We think we know, and so on and so forth. But sometimes no move is the right move, especially when we don't have to overspend. Right now, Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker still remain out there. So does Framber Valdez. So is Michael King. So is Tatsuya Ime. There's still a lot. And the Yankees are going to be a part of it. And whatever goes down, we're going to be right here to talk about it. Comment down below and let me know what you think. Pick any topic we talked about. I personally like the if you were Brian Cashman, what would you do? And also let me know about that bullpen. I think the JoJo Romero, I think that's in play. If we got to take Brendan Donovan, by all means, go right ahead. But this is something the Yanks got to start thinking about. And when we look back on it, we're going to say, wow, we were clamoring for all these big names. And it turns out the names we got were the names we needed. All right, my name is Matt Striker. I'll be back with more next time.